All right, my friends, here we go. This is going to be game number 3, the third and final game here between DDE and KiWiKaKi. Right now, of course, we are tied up 1-1. KiWiKaKi winning the first game with some very strong economy and not enough aggression from DDE. And KiWiKaKi losing the last game with some very strong aggression from DDE. So, interesting turn of events in game number 2. DDE, again, with those Hellions, just absolutely went to town on KiWiKaKi's economy. And unfortunately, KiWiKaKi wasn't able to properly deal with that. And then, as a result, wasn't able to push out for any damage himself because he was just too distracted dealing with those Hellions. So again, very interesting game number 2. Looking forward yet again to seeing how this game number 3 ends up playing out. Now it looks like KiWiKaKi will be going yet again for SimCity type of build, making a little bit of a wall off. Now this obviously is used to help prevent Hellions from being able to sneak in and do too much damage, but at the same time he can run into this situation that we saw last game and unfortunately trapping his own workers inside of his resource line with those Hellions free to go to town. So hopefully that's something that doesn't happen this time. We do have KiWiKaKi moving out with that initial probe scout. He will be moving up first into the upper right position, and let me go ahead and just go through with all the basics here. We are, of course, on Shakur's Plateau, and KiWiKaKi is spawning here in the upper left position as our yellow Protoss player. And then, of course, we do have bottom right here as the blue Terran player, DDE. I was just trying to figure out what they were talking about. When KiWiKaKi said he was getting some spikes, they were, of course, referring to lag spikes, and it looks like they did go through with a pause there. And it looks like Day 9 also commentated this game, so that's fantastic. Day 9 seems like a really great guy, no one I've met in person, certainly an excellent commentator, and knows a lot about StarCraft too, so of course kudos go to him. Now we do KiWiKaKi moving out right now with that scout. We'll be doing a little bit of worker harass right now, forced to engage with that SCV that DDE managed to pull off the line, and actually here comes a second SCV as well. This one will be utilized for some scouting. KiWiKaKi very notably scouting the fact that DDE lacks a refinery right now, so 1 Rax expand is what we are expecting here from DDE, going for that macro style play, wants to get up that quick expansion, and let's of course keep an eye as to how KiWiKaKi decides to respond. So again, as mentioned prior, we've got the SimCity formulating this little bit of a wall off here, and there we go, going to finish that up here, probably going to expect a pylon up here as well, and of course the entire purpose of this is to stop those Hellions from having much wiggle room into the economy over there. Now Probe Scout is moving on to that Zelnaga Tower, should be moving in for some secondary scouting at some point in the future. I wonder where he's going to be checking. Looks like he's actually going along the edge right there, and might be hunkering away in that corner, but no, right now it's pushing up. Now again, he pretty much knows right now that DD is expanding. This isn't really much of a question. Seeing 1 Rax and no refinery at all that early in the game means, hey, there's a quick expansion coming out. He'd rather, not get that refinery as early on so that he has those 75 extra resources to get that expansion out a little quicker. That's kind of the mentality behind that type of a build order. Here we go, SCV moving on in, getting that scouting done. He is spotting just that 1 assimilator, and he is also seeing that, well, there's a stalker coming out. So this SCV looking to be in a bit of trouble right now. He wants to hightail it out of there, and actually it looks like DDE with some impeccable timing is going to get out of there just in time before that stalker does manage to pop and what am I talking about, and can take off the rest of his life. I don't even know, guys. Sometimes I tell you, sometimes I don't know why I cannot speak. Few Marines in play. We got another Rax coming on out as well. Looks like a Tech Lab dropping down. Looks like he will be going bio heavy this build, sitting with those 3 Rax early game. He could, of course, just be trying to make sure that he gets enough for that early game defense. Now, we do have 1 Zealot as well as a Stalker pushing up, but with this bunker up, DDE will have no problem dealing with that. Looks like the Nexus is coming down for KiWiKaKi as well. Once more, knowing the fact that this expansion is up, he's going to 100% confirm that here. Spotting that bunker, yeah, he's expanding. I mean, yeah, there's really not else he could be doing. The other like potential possibility is that he could have been going for like a super heavy Rax all in, but that's not that doesn't happen. that is very rare and not the wisest of types of moves either, especially since KiWiKaKi with a single force field could handedly take care of that without issues. So we have a pylon over here for KiWiKaKi. KiWiKaKi will be using this for some aggression relatively early on is what I am expecting. He does have that warp gate research just about finished. Looks like he does have 2 more gateways coming in, so he will have 3 gateways worth of warp gates to do some warp ins and try to push out for some aggression here. And I think with a couple of sentries to prevent repairs in that bunker as well, that could actually go pretty well for him. So let's see what KiWiKaKi decides to do right now. Stage up front, he's actually going to be dealing with these Marines and Marauders right now. Oh no, they do have concussive shells, so getting that early concussive shell, allowing him to get that Stalker kill. Looks like KiWiKaKi will not be moving out with that aggression now because of that push with those Marines and Marauders. Although we still have that proxy pylon, it's possible. I'm actually going to expect KiWiKaKi to have to try to defend himself right now. Get some workers moving on down. Here's some warpins. We got 2 sentries and a zealot coming through. I think that should be enough. It's going to really depend on how his force field placement goes. Now, keep in mind, DDE doesn't have stim pack or anything like that. So here we go. Pushing forward, getting ready to engage. And with some proper force fields, he actually should be okay. But he is actually pushing back right now. He's buying himself a little bit of time to get those additional warpin. The zealots down to help. And then he can clearly, without problem, take care of this once those zealots come into play. Trying to protect that pylon, though. No reason to take that loss. He's actually forcing him down to push down with those probes. But now that we have those extra zealots, not a problem. He should have no issue taking this out. And I don't know why he's still dancing around with those probes. He is really concerned. It looks like he was waiting for at least one more wave of warpins. Getting close to a supply block, though. Actually, need to make sure that we get another pylon out right now because he's going to hit supply block next time. There we go. Pylon getting placed again. Here we go, Pro moving in for the secondary scouting. And here we go. Let's see how far he can get in right now. He's going to have to deal with these concussive shells here from that Marauder. And let's see what he scouts. Oh, there's some reinforcements. So that Pro, unfortunately, won't be scouting much of anything but what he knew already, which was that expansion. A valiant effort, though, most certainly by KiWiKaKi. Obviously want to try to get off that scouting, if at all possible. I do expect a robo sometime soon from KiWiKaKi, allowing him to get out that observer and actually get that scouting down, and then prepare as well for that transition into Colossus, which is pretty much expected, given the fact that we are seeing DDE decide to go bio-heavy in this particular game. So yes, Marine Marauder Medevac is what will be taking place for DDE. That may seem fairly basic given it's a TVP and we're looking at the Terran player, but keep in mind that's something that DDE really hasn't done so far in the series at all. I mean, he went very mech heavy in game number 2. In game number 1, he went a little bit of bio, but a lot of tanks in the mix as well with Viking heavy. This is the first time we're seeing DDE actually go for what's considered kind of standard Terran play against Protoss. Was it just heavy Marines and Marauders, throwing in the Medevacs as well, supply blocks, that's not standard, and then possibly even getting that Ghost Academy to get some EMP action as well. So anyways, yeah, DDE will be going for that particular type of build, that basically what we're considering the standard Terran versus Protoss. Although we'll be throwing in a factory in the mix, 2 factories in the mix as well. Actually, very interesting. He's sitting on quite a hefty amount of production buildings, given the fact that he is just on 2 bases. I'm not sure that he can entirely afford this. In fact, I'm almost positive that he cannot afford to produce out of all of these consistently, non-stop. I don't know why he's getting that second factory. This is just a lot of production buildings, unless he plans to stop using that starport after these medevacs and switch out for some Hellions, which I think might be happening. Not sure, though. This is just a lot to try to afford on 1 base. I really do think he's pushing it in all honesty. But, you know, he's obviously a professional player. I am not. I am a commentator. I'm a good player. I play Masters, but I'm not a pro. So let's keep that in mind here. I'm not going to question that entirely. I'm just saying, looks like much. All right, so back over here, we do have KiWiKaKi. He's working his way up to the level 2 armor upgrades. Going to be warping in a few zealots over here, trying to prevent that. Any sort of supply block that we may be seeing as well. And here comes our Box Bay working his way up to Colossus. And there we go. So now that DDE is planning to move into that expansion, this looks all a little bit more reasonable. Once he gets that expansion up and saturated, he'll definitely be able to afford to continually produce out of these. But this is what I'm talking about. Look how, just hear me out for a second. Look how low his resources are, and there's no production going on. This is because there's just too many production buildings for the income that he could possibly have off of 2 bases, and that's why I made mention of it. He's got all these production buildings sitting idly here, and because he just can't afford it. He literally doesn't have those resources, and that's why this is what's happening. So anyways, that's enough about that. I'm not going to try to focus on that for much longer. We got a pylon situated over here for KiWiKaKi, getting ready to move on up into his 3rd. It looks like DDE will be getting a free pylon kill, and also he will now be aware of the fact that KiWiKaKi is making plans to move on into his 3rd expansion. This 3rd over here for DDE is just about finished. Taking a look in the main. Here we go. Colossus churning their way on out. Thermal Lance coming on through. Charge upgrade just about finished. And that level 2 armor upgrade is just about finished as well. So there was the free pylon kill. Gonna keep a Marine over here because, again, he expects KiWiKaKi to try to continue to move into this expansion. So right now, DDE, not with a lot of forces in the middle, but just sitting with a little bit and just trying to make sure. Oh, here we go. Glad I spotted this in time. We've got 2 medevacs getting ready to drop. It's just like a Marine Marauder drop. Not much else besides that. And let's see how much damage he actually is able to do with this. Now, look at this. KiWiKaKi fully prepared for this with these stalkers. And he's going to be getting a few free shots. And no, DDE paying just enough attention. Whoa, what is he doing? Oh, no, DDE. Oh, that was awful to watch. That was absolutely horrendous to see. Very disappointed. DDE, he saw those stalkers were there because he pulled back from that initial drop, but unfortunately sitting within range of those stalkers in that attempted drop, lost almost an entire medevacs filled with bio. Just one of those things that's very unnecessary, that did not need to happen, and that sets DDE behind. So that's why it's unfortunate, and that's why it was very sad to see. We've got KiWiKaKi pushing out right now across the center of the map. He probably is just trying to get a little map control. I'm not sure we're going to see a full-on push from him. Just grabbing those towers, getting that map control, and then moving on into his third expansion. Looks like he did take care of the Marine that was sitting over there for DDE. So DDE, with that, even that single medevac loss, pretty devastating, and that's going to put him quite a bit behind. So I'm not sure how much damage he's going to be able to do right now. He may try to continue this up, maybe drop in the dark corners and snipe off a couple pylons and then pick back up and head back home, but besides that, I don't know how much damage he is really going to be able to do. And here we go, Observer Scout checking out DDE's third expansion. So KiWiKaKi, now aware of this, may mobilize to take it out, even if he just brings a few forces over there like this small little force here. 1 Zealot and 2 Stalkers. That's going to be enough to wreak a little bit of havoc over here at this expansion and do quite a bit of damage. A Marine Scout sitting there in the middle to see when and if KiWiKaKi decides to push forward. It looks like he is preparing for that push, though. We've got a proxy pylon coming out. Keep in mind, the Blink research just finished. Level 1 upgrade just about to finish as well, so KiWiKaKi is pushing. Now at the same time, look at those Zealots and Stalkers going to town over here. KiWiKaKi doing a lot of damage, and while the response of all these Hellions pushes back, here comes KiWiKaKi. So some very nice distracted tactics. Needs to be careful with those Colossus, though, walking right into that heavy Viking arsenal situated right there, and he's actually forced to push back. We got Hellions preparing to move up for a counterattack. KiWiKaKi has plenty of time to respond to that, and as such, we'll be warping in some of these Blink Stalkers, and see you later, Hellions, with a little bit of micro and blinking, if necessary, down to try to prevent them from moving up. And oh, and we got 2 cannons over here as well. So KiWiKaKi fully Hellion prepared right now. Needs to be careful, though. They're going to be lining up a few of those workers, those Hellions. Ooh, didn't manage to get that many kills. He's actually going to engage. He should be able to take out that Hellion right now. There we go, engaging with a single probe, taking out that Hellion. Very, very nice there indeed. Ton of Blink Stalkers getting warped in right here in that forward position. I kind of expect KiWiKaKi to continue forward and keep moving with this aggression right now. He's going to be re-rallying his forces, getting them up in one large group, and then pushing out with everything he has. We have DDE getting ready to engage with that. I'm really not sure how his army supply is in comparison. They are actually about equal. KiWiKaKi with that slight advantage. And again, KiWiKaKi with his forward pylon can continue to warp in. We've got 4 more gateways coming out here as well. So here comes the push right now. KiWiKaKi feeling comfortable. Needs to keep those Colossus and back away from those Vikings. Lots of Stalkers should be able to take down those Vikings pretty quickly, but not before those Colossus get worked on. And actually just 1 Colossus left. Hopefully he micros back with those. A few force fields in this Stalker heavy army plus those Colossus. There's only 1 left, but just tore through everything that DDE had. And DDE's getting his expansion mopped up. 87 army supplies opposed to just the 41 for DDE. So KiWiKaKi in a fantastic position right now. Keep in mind, he also did a lot of damage over there to that expansion with that small task force that he did move out there. So right now, DDE's economy very hurting. I really don't think he's got any chance right now. This looks like it is the GG, and there we go, DDE calling the good game. DDE opened up this game with a 1 Rax into Expand and then transitioned into Bio Heavy. KiWiKaKi himself opted for 1 gate into Expansion. At 7 minutes, we saw a push from DDE with a small but threatening force of Marines and Marauders. This forced KiWiKaKi to pull back and wait for some reinforcements before he could actually feel comfortable engaging. He could have taken a bit of damage, but he made the wise decision in pulling back with his forces, waiting for those reinforcements, and then pulling down for the engagement. DDE attempted a medevac drop at 13 minutes, however, spotting the Stalkers, he pulled back, but then he walked right back into them and took a very heavy loss, losing that full medevac there. DDE moved into his third, however this was scouted by KiWiKaKi, and just with 1 Zealot and 2 Stalkers, KiWiKaKi was able to work that SCV count down and do quite a bit of damage to this Expo, forcing DDE to respond with some Hellions. With DDE being a bit behind due to a few unsuccessful attacks plus that damage at his third, KiWiKaKi pushed forward, and with his very, very strong army, was able to snipe down those Vikings, use the Colossus that he had remaining to tear through that bio, plus those Blink Stalkers, and that forced the GG from DDE. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this best of 3 series. Looks like KiWiKaKi did prevail. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this commentary. As always, if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.